Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams with the news at 9. The headlines. Deadlock in Parliament continues over Rahul Gandhi's remarks on Indian democracy and Adani Group issue. CBI says it is closely monitoring movements of wanted criminals like Mehul Choksi in coordination with foreign law enforcement agencies. G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group holds roundtable discussions in Udaipur on net zero carbon development. Government releases guidelines to address human-wildlife conflict. And in Women's Premier League cricket, Mumbai Indians beat Royal Challengers Bangalore by 4 wickets in Mumbai. Both houses of Parliament continue to witness disruptions over Rahul Gandhi's remarks on Indian democracy and the Adani Group issue on the 7th consecutive day today. Amid sloganeering, both the houses were adjourned for the day. There will be no sitting tomorrow due to festivals. The next sitting will be on Thursday. In the Lok Sabha, when the House reassembled after the first adjournment at 2 p.m., opposition party members, including from the Congress, DMK, BRS and Aam Aadmi Party, trooped into the well, raising slogans in favour of their demand for a joint parliamentary committee probe into the Adani Group matter. Treasury bench members reiterated their demand, seeking Rahul Gandhi's apology for his remarks. As noisy scenes continued, the House was adjourned for the day. In the Rajya Sabha, similar scenes were witnessed. When the House reassembled at 2 p.m. after its first adjournment, Treasury bench members raised slogans demanding Rahul Gandhi's apology. Meanwhile, Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge said Mr. Gandhi is not a member of the upper house, hence there is no question of his apology. Amid pandemonium, the House was adjourned for the day. Leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, Piyush Goyal, today said that the opposition does not want the Parliament to function and is misleading the country. He was speaking to media outside Parliament.
विपक्ष खासतौर पे कांग्रेस, डीएमके और जो उनके सहयोगी दल हैं, वो हाउस चलाने नहीं देना चाहते। कोई सरकार पे आरोप ना होने के बावजूद वो गैर जिम्मेदार वक्तव्य और बेबुनियाद आरोपों के आधार पर सदन को ना चलने देने की मंशा से आए हैं।
Meanwhile, Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge ruled out Rahul Gandhi's apology for his remarks on democracy in India.
माफी मांगने का तो सवाल नहीं है, बार बार वो पूछते रहेंगे, हम उसको नकारते रहेंगे। इशू को डाइवर्ट करने के लिए कर रहे हैं। तो देखिए, हमारे एम्बेसी पे हमले हो रहे, उसके बारे में उनकी कोई बात नहीं है। उसके बाद जो यहाँ के बैंकों से पैसे उठा लेके जा रहे हैं, ऐसे लोगों को प्रोटेक्शन देने वाले देशभक्ति की बात करना ये मजाक है।
Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar called a meeting of the floor leaders of different political parties in the Rajya Sabha twice today in an attempt to break the logjam in the House over the issues raised by both ruling as well as opposition parties. He underlined that it is the prime duty of members to run the proceedings of the House in an orderly manner, which is the essence of democracy and the expectation of the people. During the 1.5-hour-long meeting, Mr. Dhankar highlighted that the House is meant for debate and discussion in a collaborative manner and not for confrontation and deadlock. In the first meeting, leaders of BJP, YSRCP, BJD and TDP were present. However, floor leaders of other parties did not attend. The chief whip of the Congress party and also the floor leader of the DMK party called on the chairman separately before the meeting and expressed their inability to attend the meeting convened by the chairman. The chairman indicated to the two leaders that this would not help the cause of democracy. The second meeting was attended, among others, by Deputy Chairman Rajya Sabha Dr. Harivansh, Sharad Pawar of NCP, Dr. Keshav Rao of BRS, Tiruchi Siva of DMK, Dr. Shantanu Sen of AITC and M. Thambidurai of AIA-DMK. The chairman has scheduled the next meeting on Thursday at 10 a.m. to engage in further consultations. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla also chaired a meeting of floor leaders in the lower house to end the logjam. The Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, has said that its Global Operations Center continues to closely monitor movements of wanted criminals like Mehul Choksi in close coordination with foreign law enforcement agencies. It said the CBI is not reliant only on Interpol channels. The agency said extradition request regarding Mehul Choksi made by India is under active consideration before authorities in Antigua and Barbuda and remains fully unimpacted by Red Notice-related communications with Interpol. A case was registered against Choksi and others in February 2018 for defrauding Punjab National Bank. CBI has already filed 2 charge sheets in the case against wanted criminal Mehul Choksi and others. The second G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting began in Udaipur today. Roundtable discussions were held on the need to do much more to achieve net zero carbon development. A workshop focusing on understanding the effectiveness of non-pricing policy levers in enabling low carbon development was also held. It was mentioned that non-price-based policy levers have performed better than expectations and are cost-effective. A discussion was also held stressing the need for development of an ecosystem for green finance. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari today said India has a value-based education and family system which is the biggest strength of Indian society. Mr. Gadkari said ethics, economy, ecology and environment are the pillars of society. He was addressing the valedictory function of the 2-day Civil 20C20 Inception meeting under India's presidency in Nagpur today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the new International Telecommunication Union ITU Area Office and Innovation Centre in India in New Delhi tomorrow. ITU is the United Nations Specialized Agency for Information and Communication Technologies and its headquarters are in Geneva. India had signed a host country agreement in March last year with ITU for establishment of area office. It will serve India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, the Maldives, Afghanistan and Iran, enhancing coordination among nations and fostering mutually beneficial economic cooperation in the region. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. In a special series, All India Radio brings you excerpts from the Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat.
People, voice and direct dialogue. That's your and our Mann Ki Baat. Yes, this is how our Prime Minister connects with millions of countrymen with the program Mann Ki Baat, aired on the last Sunday of every month on All India Radio. This series, which started on 3rd October 2014, will complete its 100th episode in April 2023. A large number of people across the globe are suffering from failure of vital internal organs due to various illnesses. Their lives can be saved if they get an organ replacement at the right time. A series of campaigns for organ donation have been organized to promote the cause. Mann Ki Baat has played a pivotal role in uniting and motivating the masses. It was amply reflected upon by the Prime Minister in the edition on 29th November 2015. He appealed to the people to donate their organs so that lives in despair and need could be saved.
Organ donation मूल्यवान जिंदगियों को बचा सकता है। अंगदान एक प्रकार से अमरता लेकर के आ जाता है। एक शरीर से दूसरे शरीर में जब अंग जाता है तो उस अंग को नया जीवन मिल जाता है, लेकिन उस जीवन को नई जिंदगी मिल जाती है। इससे बड़ा सर्वोत्तम दान क्या हो सकता है।
The special Mann Ki Baat series can be heard every day in the morning and evening bulletins. Environment Minister Bhupendra Yadav today released 14 guidelines to address human-wildlife conflict HWC. The guidelines aim to facilitate a common understanding among key stakeholders on what constitutes effective and efficient mitigation of human-wildlife conflict in India. These are advisory in nature and will facilitate in further development of site-specific HWC mitigation measures. The guidelines have been developed under the Indo-German Cooperation Project on HWC mitigation. The second consultative meeting on defence cooperation between India and Jordan was held in New Delhi today. The two countries discussed a range of issues including military training and courses, cyber security, military exercises, military medicine and capacity building in various areas to enhance defence engagements. Both sides also exchanged their respective capabilities in defence industry and research and development for forging collaborations in mutually beneficial areas. The Jordanian delegation also interacted with the representatives of defence industry. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar today met U.S. Secretary of Air Force Frank Kendall in New Delhi today. They discussed the global strategic scenario and new opportunities for India-U.S. defence cooperation. Chinese President Xi Jinping arrived at the Kremlin today for formal talks with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin on matters of concern, including the Ukraine conflict. The Kremlin said the two leaders would discuss proposals put forward by China to end more than a year of fighting in Ukraine, and that the talks were likely to end with Xi and Putin signing a number of agreements. Xi Jinping earlier also met with Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin. Mr. Xi invited President Putin to visit China this year. U.S. President Joe Biden has signed a bipartisan bill that directs the federal government to declassify intelligence about the origins of COVID-19. In a statement, he said the U.S. needs to get to the bottom of COVID-19's origins, including potential links to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The legislation, which passed both the House and Senate without dissent, cites potential links between the research that was done in the Wuhan lab and the outbreak of COVID-19, which the World Health Organization declared a pandemic on March 11, 2020. Home Minister Amit Shah today said that Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati fearlessly propagated Swadharma, Swabhasha and Swaraj in the pre-independence era when talking about these was prohibited. Speaking at the 148th Foundation Day of Arya Samaj, Mr. Shah said Maharshi Dayanand awakened the soul of the country by establishing the Arya Samaj. He said the government has decided to celebrate the 200th birth anniversary of Maharshi Dayanand. Youth Affairs and Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur today said there is incredible transformation and digitalization happening across sectors. He highlighted that there cannot be a more auspicious and exciting time in the history of the world to work on harnessing the power of the youth. He was speaking at FICCI Global Young Leaders Summit in Delhi today. Key domestic share markets posted gains of more than 0.5% today amid positive global cues. A report from the Business Desk.
The Sensex climbed 446 points or 0.77% to finish at 58,075. The Nifty surged 119 points or 0.7% to settle at 17,108. Gold price at Multi-Commodity Exchange for April contracts was trading at around 59,140 rupees per 10 gram when reports last came in, and oil rose, recovering from a 15-month low hit in the previous session. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at around $73.95 per barrel. Anubha Rohadki for AIR News.
In Women's Premier League cricket, Mumbai Indians defeated Royal Challengers Bangalore by 4 wickets at Dr. D.Y. Patil Sports Academy in Navi Mumbai. Royal Challengers Bangalore scored 125 for 9 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs. In reply, Mumbai Indians achieved the target with 21 balls remaining. Indian boxers Nikhat Zareen, Neetu Gangas and Manisha Maun have stormed into the quarterfinals of the Women's World Championships in New Delhi. Nikhat in 50 kg, Neetu in 48 kg and Manisha in 57 kg categories recorded victories in the first session to advance to the quarterfinals of the tournament at the Indira Gandhi Sports Complex today. The International Shooting Sports Federation ISSF World Cup Shooting Championship began in Bhopal today. Around 200 shooters from 30 countries are participating in the event. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan inaugurated the championship at Kushabhau Thakre International Convention Centre in Bhopal. ISSF President Luciano Rossi was the guest of honour at the event. Now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Deadlock in Parliament continues over Rahul Gandhi's remarks on Indian democracy and Adani Group issue. CBI says it is closely monitoring movements of wanted criminals like Mehul Choksi in coordination with foreign law enforcement agencies. G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group holds roundtable discussions in Udaipur on net zero carbon development. Government releases guidelines to address human-wildlife conflict. And in Women's Premier League cricket, Mumbai Indians beat Royal Challengers Bangalore by 4 wickets in Mumbai. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. That is all in the news at 9. Good night.